do this all day,
all
right?
day, yes.
Having you with us this year, the Girls Your Life Tour, you know, for 2 years I've been traveling the country. And so I wanted to go out and meet women where they were. Day-to-day life challenges is bigger than just having a sit down and just talking to a girlfriend about it. I really believe women need support around day-to-day life challenges.
Oh, absolutely.
So I went out and I said, I want to help her in that place.
Okay.
I want to help her in her total life. Because we got one or two things. You want to be an entrepreneur? Let's show you how to make money. Or you want to lose weight? Let's show you how to get 5 pounds off. But the conversation is total life. And so I said, I need to do that work. Professional development is about your personal development.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about you. You represent the total life of a woman. You know, every time I think about there is a celebrity guest I want to have a sit down with, you come at the top of mine. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for just being you.
Your energy is so wonderful that it makes it so easy. I think we could talk forever and ever and ever. We could go to the restaurant and have to close it down. You know, flash your light and say you gotta go.
Gotta go. Yeah. That's how I feel about you. That's how I feel about your team and the work you do. I love. And of course you take care of my daughter too, by the way. And my granddaughter reminded me of something. You delivered her. And she said she's gonna tell me to send you a picture of her birth so you can remember. And I forgot to do that today.
So you can still send it.
Yes.
And we will still share it. Now, she has to be young because, you know, I'm real young.
Yes, she 10.
But
she
I mean,
remembered.
you said something that is so profound, especially in the time that we're in right now, is most people forget about the mind, body, and spirit, the total body and the total woman. And we are just that. We have a mind, we have a spirit, and we have a body. And it's oftentimes very hard to create a balance.
Right.
Because you're right, you're busy trying to become an entrepreneur and you forget your health.
Yes.
Or you're in this place where you feel like you're losing all your wits and then you're not making money. So you're right, it's trying to find that balance of becoming a total woman.
Yes. And that's the conversation's been missing.
Yeah.
And this year I thought this was the perfect year, but I didn't know. Of course, coming into this year, we were going to have it the way we're having to have it, virtually, digitally, but it's okay. We turned this moment into, I truly believe, a winning moment.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to do anything else but win.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how to hang out with other women that don't win. And I didn't want a conversation for the women who come in the Girls Your Life Tour to hear anything but authenticity and real life winning in a woman and what that takes. So the pandemic, right?
Yes.
Dr. J, how's that affected you as a woman? Day-to-day life challenges in every area, wellness, money, relationships, because I could tell you my own story, but we came to talk with you.
Yes.
And what would you say to her? Like, what are we saying to her, Girls Your Life this year, about her life total in this moment?
Initially, when I started hearing about COVID-19, I kept saying, it's going to be like the flu. You know, it's seasonal. It'll come, it'll go, and we'll be over it. But the more I started seeing the effects, and we were actually in New York promoting the Queen V, which we'll talk about more, but we were in New York on set, and things were starting to close down. Like they stopped having guests, and it was just closing right before our eyes. And I'm like, this may be a little more serious than I wanted to give it credit. However, moving forward, I realized we were truly in a pandemic. We started getting instructions from higher ups as to how we were going to do the office. We got a phone call one day saying all of the offices are closed except OBGYNs. You know, there were a few people who couldn't close because the pregnancy was still going to
Correct.
happen.
I was wondering about that. And then,
Yes.
yeah.
And so I would leave out the next day and there was nobody on the street. And then I started to have, you said we're being authentic.
Yes, we are.
I started to have some fear around, oh my God, I'm going out and I don't know what I'm coming back with. So I would go to work, and it is always my mission to walk in this door as the captain of the ship and pour into other women. Absolutely. I didn't come for them to make me feel better. I didn't share my fears, but I just kept saying, we're going to get through this. We're going to protect you. And at one point they told us pregnant women are fine. It's not going to bother them. And then the next day, yeah, pregnant women are more at risk. So it was a bouncing ball for us. But I certainly had some fears that I would contract COVID and die. You know, the thought was like, oh my God, okay.
That's
then
deep,
we
Dr.
got
J.
the statistics from higher up. 60% of physicians will be affected by COVID-19, and we may lose 2%. You start rationalizing through that, like, okay. Then I got my head in the right place. I said, well, I tell you what, I'm the 40% and the 98%.
Yes.
So whoever the 60% is, we're going to pray for them.
Yes.
And whoever the 2% is, I hope they know the Lord.
Amen.
But that's not me.
Amen.
And the thing I use through breast cancer is I will live and not die. So I can tell what God. Every time that thought of dying came to my head, I said, I will live and not die. And so I started to use it for the pandemic. Like, okay, we got to take care of the pregnant women. We have to make them okay. And again, total woman, mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
She's pregnant. So I would pour into the mind like, you're going to be fine. If this happens, you call us. You come immediately to the hospital. I want you to find some positive affirmations. You write them down and you recite them every day. You tell them this baby is redeemed from destruction. Just every day, use your words to create, because that's what God did with the earth.
Absolutely.
He used his words to create. So I went through that first phase of the pandemic, and we were watching the folks in New York.
We were glued to them. Like, what is... They were kind of the matriarch, if we would say, of what was
the
actually
prototype.
Yeah, good word.
Being in a pandemic looked like.
Yeah.
And so we used that, but I would just every day pour into the women. Then we had patients not understanding. I can't bring my husband, you know, and then at the hospital, I can't, you know, we brought the one person only.
Yep.
But if that person came, let's say you were in labor and your cousin brought you to the hospital, that's the only person.
One person.
So your husband couldn't. So it was a lot of stuff happening. But I knew I had to build myself up for this time. And like you, we didn't know we were going to be in this time.
No, we did not.
I started off the year trying to figure out how to promote the Queen Bee.
Right. Because that's where we're going in the next part of our talk today. What was next?
Yeah, we were tossed into a pandemic. We started to see people die. It was a lot of stuff to process. And all the time, you and I are still in a position, which I think is God-given, to make other people feel better.
We sure are.
To be better, to do better.
We sure are.
Yes, and I would say to people, I don't care who you are, what you are, where you are, you got to remind yourself where you want to be and what you know.
Right, that's correct.
You got to talk yourself into good place.
We got to talk ourselves from not where we are, but where we want to be. And that's what you think, to be not as though they were.
Yes. And so use your words. And that's what I did. That's how I got through that first phase of not knowing where we were and what was going to happen. And going into the hospital, girl, I have matured. I don't say age. And so I would get a hot flash, Lord.
Yes.
We had on a mask and a head covering and shields, and I would get a hot flash.
Yes.
Ooh, I started thinking, let me think about the refrigerator. Anything I could do to cool myself off to get through that. But we couldn't stop being who we needed to be for other people. And so I just kept doing what I needed to do to get through it. And I don't think the pandemic went away. I think we learned how to maneuver through what was happening.
Yeah, we're navigating better. So you know why this is such a powerful part of what we're talking about at Girls Your Life? Because the woman that's looking at us right now, right, sitting with us across the country and Canada, by the way.
Hey, Canada.
She's saying, that's Dr. Jackie. She got it. She knows it. She's been there. She's weathered storms. Oh, I heard she fought back and won breast cancer.
Twice.
That's right. I've heard I know she has the resources. That's Dr. Jackie. I want to go there for a moment because I believe that we as women collectively dismiss our own power and courage and bravery, and we take it in a minute way that you have more to work with than she do. I want her to hear clearly you thought of death. There was a moment. You had to deal with the day-to-day challenges. and you faced death because you were on the front line. You were those front lines that we were hearing about every single day. I thought about you because my daughter had to come visit you during this period. And I watched you take care of her in a way that didn't feel pandemic to me. It blessed me because I was nervous for all of you.
Right.
And yet I watch you navigate. So that comes from someplace deeper.
So
how deep she got to go?
Let's start with the fact that I want the women to hear social media can fool you. Because what they see about Dr. Jackie is what I allow you to see. What you don't see about Dr. Jackie is when she wakes up in the morning with her head scarf on, or she's been up all night and she doesn't have this cute little makeup on over the dark circles. And you didn't see that I was living in a pandemic where we stopped taking paychecks so that we could keep employees. In the midst of renovating the house, I was out in the middle of the ocean. And I couldn't turn back.
I saw your house being renovated. Great work.
So, and we weren't filming Married to Medicine, so there was no extra check coming into the house.
She needed to hear that. There's no extra check coming in the house.
And I was good for the first 2 months. Laura was like, oh, this okay.
I felt okay too the first 2 months. That third or fourth one, I think.
Girl, I started going, okay. Ooh. And every time I would have to write another check to the contractor. Now, I had prepared for most of it. But I had prepared with those things in place that I got paid at work. And I got paid filming. And I was speaking engagements, but none of that was happening.
That's right. It went to a halt.
So there were some sleepless nights that you didn't see. But I, again, used what we talked about at the top of this. I used my words. The
words you formed.
And I used my thoughts. I would say, God will create this. But I got comfortable with not having certain things too, Lord.
So did I.
I didn't need to shop.
No, we didn't need to shop.
At all. I mean, when I say no shopping, I did not look at stuff.
Okay.
I erased the temptation of shopping.
I did shop a little bit, Dr. Jack. I saw it. I felt bad at first. Then I just decided it was too cheap to the store I go to. They didn't never give a sale. So I thought I'll take advantage of that 30%.
Yeah, I cut it all 50%. Off because I was in the middle of a renovation.
You're right. You were, and that probably was me in my moment.
Yes.
Right. Because I didn't need it either.
I want women to know that there were times during this period where I went, whew, okay, maybe I will bust up this and open this up and go into this. So it's not always what they see.
That's right.
And so I don't ever want people to say, well, that's Dr. Jackie, she's got it. Because there were moments when she didn't got it.
I love it. I love that ebonics right there.
Yeah, she didn't have it where you just say, oh, I can have anything I wanted to have, because I really did want to make sure my employees were okay.
That's correct. I knew you would put them.
They had children.
Yes.
And some of them didn't have a second income coming into the house. So I was willing to make the sacrifice. So much that I learned we don't need all that.
So you had to stretch for this woman, or this woman is one that you've been building up her over time. And what I mean by that is sometimes we don't know who we are until we're stretched to find her.
Strong is sometimes all you know.
Right. Okay.
When you need to be strong. Yeah. Right. Of course, I encourage everybody, if you can, prepare for a rainy day. Financially and mentally. Just kind of put things away. But you put them away so when I retire,
yes,
that's my rainy day. But this was a period where I'm like, I have signed a contract where I'm going to renovate this house, so you owe your creditors.
That's correct.
And so it was a period where I'm like, okay, we weren't seeing patience, and as much as we give from our heart, it's still a business.
Right. Everything has to be paid.
So we still had to pay for the building.
Yes.
We still had to pay the employees.
Yes.
We had to make sure they had insurance. There were a lot of things coming out of the pot with very little going into it. So it was a time where I used my prayer life. I used my thought life, everything I could to say, this is okay.
She used her prayer life and she used her thought life. So I want you to take that as your first tool as to how she got through this hard moment. And for all of us as women, the degree of our lives depend on the degree of what we risked. You know, some women stay very safe, Dr. Jackie. They save, they say my 401k has it for me. Everything just looks safe and secure. And part of this year conversation, I wanted to really see vivid color in her life. That's why I'm wearing all these bright colors. You're wearing pink. I want her to see, right? I want her to see it. I want her to see it. I want her to see herself more risk, in a more risk her.
Yeah. Because the story there is when you save and you save and you save and you keep your fists closed. And my mom used to say that nothing goes out,
Right.
but nothing comes
in.
And so you do have to take some risk. Because if you talk to most millionaires, they have lost and got back up on the horse. Yeah. But I learned it's okay, Lord. I was okay with not having anything this time.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I was just okay with not having money to shop, not even feeling like giving to the church was a like.
Oh yes, especially if you're generous in your giving.
Yeah.
Yes, I practice vibrational giving, so you have that. It's why I do love these moments with you. You give to the level that you like to receive.
Oh yeah.
That's who you are.
Yeah.
And so I taught a class on vibrational giving to entrepreneurs. And I think we as Black women specifically, or women of color, especially Black women, we got some more to learn about that. So we're going to be talking about that at the Girls Life Tour. That's something different. For the woman that's feeling financially worn right now, right, that just kept showing up. I believe that this is not the one thing she wants to talk about on social. The smile, I'm getting through it. The financial worn part, we just had that conversation where she's not alone, right? All of us felt that stretch in the pandemic. I didn't even know the price of food went up so tremendously till I went to the world market, right? Getting my same stuff. And one day I decided to really look at my pricings because these are my same items I buy. So as a woman, you know, we become comfortable in the predictable, but it wasn't predictable. They took some pricing and jacked it up like $1.75, $3. And I thought, wow, for the woman that's barely making it, I want to encourage her to see better, see greater. What can we tell her in this moment, Dr. Jackie? Like, this is a moment I truly believe she can really see better for herself.
Well, certainly.
If she think about it.
Learn simplicity.
Okay.
And then this is the one time to not be embarrassed about anything.
I love that.
Because everybody was balancing something during this pandemic. From the richest of the rich to the poorest. We were all balancing something. And it is okay to say during this time, I don't have it. And don't fake. You know, I think I had a couple of producers this year to say to me, where's the Dr. Jackie where it was okay to buy stuff? Because now I'm going, I'm not buying that. No.
I love it.
Spending that.
I love the authenticity.
And when we're having events, we're not, oh no.
Right.
We don't need a chef. Let me show you how we're going to do this.
Right.
We can self-do this.
Right.
And it's okay to be in that place right now. I've learned a lot, you're right, of what I don't have to have. Right.
It's okay.
It is okay to say I don't have it. And then you made a good point. You got to stretch and learn some creative ways now. If you are good at making cakes, you might need to show somebody your cakes online.
Right now.
If you can sew, you might need to make some masks.
That's correct.
Whatever talent God has given you, He's given everybody a talent.
Yeah, we have a measure of talent, all of us.
You better learn to use it.
Yes.
Don't be embarrassed to fail at it. The people who laugh at you will keep laughing till they say, how did you do that?
Yes, how did that happen?
Let them laugh. It is okay to laugh, but there is some talent you have. Right now, moms are having a fit with homeschooling. You may be a great tutor.
I'm seeing so many of that being a concern for mothers, and yet I'm seeing teachers say they're struggling. I'm like, you don't have to struggle. Right. Shift your perspective of what's possible.
Yes.
And that's what color is about too. I believe color brings perspective.
Absolutely. And just learn a measure of creativity and give it don't be afraid to try something.
A measure of creativity.
Don't be afraid to try something. If they knew how much I had tried, and Ebony can make you laugh, like I wanted to design white coats.
Oh.
I went out, I had this lady to go to China and bring me back thousands of dollars worth of white material.
Okay.
I paid a lot of money to have folks design coats that I had in my head. And we put it to paper and we sent it to a company to design the coats. We tried on a few of the coats for size, and then we kept calling. They went out of business.
With the money?
And the material.
And the material. Oh.
And the designs. So my white coat idea went under. That was it. And I'm not embarrassed to tell you.
No, I love the story though. I
Yes.
see where you're going. You're going to still get the white coat design.
Eventually.
Eventually,
It's
yeah.
just sometimes
When
God says not right now.
Just right now.
Uh-huh. But if you knew the ideas of stuff I have tried, and I wake up and I love Ebony in my life because she'll go, okay, put that in the parking lot. We called it the parking lot.
Oh, the parking lot?
Put it in the parking lot. Because I wake up in the morning with 1,000 ideas. Let's do
Yes.
this and let's do this. And we got to run over here. Ebony, I want you to talk to this person. And you talk to this person.
Yes.
And she's like, just, okay.
Well, that's what I love about you as well. You know, being a doctor, I believe, especially in this time, will take creativity. We'll take testing your limits. Mm-hmm. We'll take courage and bravery. It already was one of those, but now we're talking heightened. Mm-hmm. We're talking double that. Mm-hmm. And then now an author, the Queen V. Yes. We're going to jump into that because I'm excited.
Yes.
I wanted to really just tap into one thing because I didn't want to miss this one. I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to miss this one. When every time I sit with you, I think healthy. I look at you, I feel you. And many women have died, right? Many women have died with a diagnosis, breast cancer, or whatever others' cancer, right? She doesn't have to die. When I see you, I know she doesn't have to die. Mm-hmm. I know there's something in you that if she just get that little something, she doesn't have to die. And if by chance that is her destiny, right, to leave this side of the earth, she would have left it feeling full and colorful.
Yes.
What can we go and help her with in this moment? Because I believe women are not just physically dying. I believe she's emotionally dying. And when we get to the end of the year, Dr. Jackie, we're going to have a lot of emotional dead women. And 2021 won't be her year either. So my goal, my purpose on earth is to help her see you're not dead. 200,000 plus are. You owe it to them too, to live. And we got to help her figure out how to live.
Yeah, let's start with adversity is a fact of life. It's going to come. Everybody has some type of adversity in their lives. And whether it comes as a mere irritant or it comes as a major catastrophe, cancer, adversity is going to come. It comes unintended, unplanned, uninvited, but it comes.
Love that.
Now, how you come out on the other side is where the beauty comes from. And so if you think, I like to think of a pearl. And if you think about how a pearl is created, it starts in an oyster. And when an irritant gets on the inside, the sand and the dirt gets on the inside of an oyster, it walls off the oyster and it becomes a pearl. And the more irritating it is to the oyster, the more beautiful and radiant the pearl is. And so right now, life seems like it's an irritant, but you can create radiance in the form of a pearl. So it depends on how you conduct yourself. So with breast cancer, it was so shocking to me, Lori. And I still have 50 Shades of Pink because I really do believe there's a place for looking good and feeling good during cancer, particularly breast cancer here, was to find out I am pregnant and you're telling me I have breast cancer. And so long story short, you lose the pregnancy, 6 months of chemo, 33 cycles of radiation to find out now you can't get pregnant. That was a lot. It was an irritant. But I used the irritation, walled it off, and created 50 Shades of Pink so that we could give back to other women who have been diagnosed or who will get diagnosed with breast cancer so that they look good. Because we know as women, when you look good, Lord, we start feeling
but feel good. Yes, we can
feel good,
achieve some stuff.
You feel good, and the immune system, we've learned, when you feel good, your immune system works better. And so whatever you're going through, whether it has come or has not come, use that irritant in your life or that major catastrophe to surround yourself with good people like you. Get rid of the toxic friends. Don't let the woe is me consume you. take all of that stuff and create a pearl out of whatever comes. Because we wouldn't have these wonderful pearls we see if the irritant didn't come inside the oyster.
That's correct. That's so beautiful.
I just say, don't let anything. And you know, if they told me I had breast cancer and I was dying, I would leave such a mark in this earth.
It'll know you was here.
Yes, breast cancer would be mad.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to go out with defeat.
Yes.
Without leaving some type of a champion mark.
That's right.
In the earth. And it comes. Adversity comes. The pandemic came. You lost your job. You lost your spouse. Mm-hmm. There's been an increase in domestic violence.
Yes.
All of that stuff comes. And you know I say my 3 things. Pain has a purpose.
Yes.
Misery gives you a ministry.
Yes.
And your struggles give you strength.
That's correct. Those
now
are
you can cry. It's okay. But when you stop crying, the war is still there to fight.
That's correct.
So I said through breast cancer, you can't fight this war with tears in your eyes. So get your cry out, mess your makeup up, and then start fighting.
This is the only thing I think left for us before we dive into Queen V, because I think I'm already Queen V. If we go deeper, we go all the way as deep as we can. Maybe she hear us right now. Maybe she hear just a smidget. But I want her to hear something that forever profoundly changes her in this moment. That she heard it here in this moment. What is that? That thing that she can immediately do right now, here right now, Dr. Jackie, to shift her out of this bleak space, this discontented space, this unpredictable, on pause, because so many women living like that. Like, we're not talking about pause in just not going out. We're talking about pause in everything, every dream, every goal. I've seen it on my socials where everybody was excited, right? Coming in 2020.
Yes.
This was a dimensional, right?
We didn't know what we were going to see, though.
Right.
Yes.
We didn't.
Yes.
Evolution, dimensional shifts. We've had more full moons without going into that, right? In this year, we've had weather anomalies. We have a whole lot of evolution happening.
Yes.
I need her to know in this moment that her evolution is still present in her, though. That's what I would say to her.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, would you agree or say that? Or
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Is to say, my biggest thing, if I can empower you, is to learn to love yourself. If you love yourself, you teach the world how to love you. You're teaching the universe how to love you. And we talk about give and get back. What you give yourself is what you get back. And so the biggest thing I can empower women to do, and it's of course what I try to do with the Queen V, is to learn to love yourself. Like Queen V, and if we talk about particular body parts, you're not making history. You're not the only person who's going through this thing. And it is okay. Like, a lot of women are embarrassed to talk about certain things about their bodies. I don't want them to be anymore, because you don't realize your story is really not just for you.
Absolutely.
Your story is to help somebody else.
Absolutely.
And so I keep saying, learn to love yourself. I shared a video, and we'll put it on my YouTube, where I say, you wake up in the morning and you spend your first 20 minutes instilling in self. Find a podcast, find an inspirational speaker, or something the first 20 minutes of your day that will build you up. Because when you go out, the world's going to take a little bit of this from you, a little bit of that, and you go home and your tank is on empty. But if you go out empty, you know from a car, you're not going to get too far.
Right.
So build yourself up. Wake up, look in the mirror and say, ooh, girl, you look good. Or, oh, I love you. And we don't say, I love you. I've learned that this year, too. I rarely end a conversation from my husband or my mom without saying, I love you. Now, as black people, we didn't do that a lot.
Yes, we didn't.
learn to say, I love you. So I try to say, I love you. Those 3 words are profound. But the person that you can love the most is love yourself.